Next at 10.
Copper thieves will now have a harder time stealing telephone lines in one New Mexico county. We'll show you how a phone company is cracking down on the crime.
And Eyewitness News 4 gets a first exclusive look at the new rail runner route to Santa Fe.
Live local late-breaking coverage. This is Eyewitness News 4 at 10.
Fighting back. We look at the way authorities are trying to catch copper thieves in the act.
Taking a test drive. We take a ride on the rail runner as it takes a practice run up to Santa Fe County.
Pros and cons. We have a new poll that shows what each presidential candidate has going for him and what voters think could cost them the race.
It's the new fad for thieves looking for easy money, plundering copper wire anywhere they can find it.
Now Quest is doing something to nail those thieves before they can steal any more copper and knock out any more service. Joe Vigil is live near Los Lunas with our top story.
Well, the new system is going up in Valencia County, where copper wire thefts have been a problem for Quest and for Quest customers. Now, the thieves have cut the telephone lines more than a dozen times this year around Los Lunas and Belen to get at that valuable copper wire inside. These then sell that wire for an easy buck. Now, just last month, about 500 people lost phone service in Valencia County when their phone lines were cut. Thieves hit and run before authorities even know what's happened. But now, Quest has put up sensors on phone lines. Those sensors will alert dispatchers that phone lines are being tampered with, and deputies can move in to catch the culprits in the act.
I believe that is going to help us to catch some of these people that are actually taking the copper, because we are in a situation where these things are happening during the dark of night, and by the time we get there, obviously they're either gone or they've taken the copper with them.
Now, recently those sensors did go off. Deputies say they showed up quickly on scene, but no lines were cut. They say it is possible the wind or a bird might have set off those sensors. Reporting live near Los Lunas, Joe Vigil, Eyewitness News 4.
Tonight, Eyewitness News 4 takes a test ride on the rail runner as crews make a practice run on the new tracks between Bernalillo and Santa Fe. Our Eric Connert just returned from the trip. He's live downtown to give you a look at what you'll be seeing if you hop aboard the train come December. Eric?
Roughly 35,000 people drive between Albuquerque and Santa Fe every day. In about a month and a half, they'll have the option to take the rail runner. Tonight we got an exclusive look at the scenic route. Santa Fe better get used to that sound. The rail runner will soon be making 4 different stops in the city different.
We are still looking at beginning service in December of this year. Construction of the track is moving along very well.
In fact, crews only have about 1.5 miles of track to finish. Right now, rail runner engineers and conductors are doing practice runs between Bernalillo and Lamy, just southeast of Santa Fe. We tagged along for the ride.
It's really for them to look at, to get familiar with the territory. They look at things like where all the crossings are, where the major curves are, where all the sidings are in the corridor.
Lawrence Rael says the test runs are also necessary to make sure the equipment performs well, their time is accurate, and so the crew gets used to the incline and decline.
The grade to Santa Fe is a 3% grade, and what that basically means is that it's a very unusual climb for us in this corridor.
During the hour and 20-minute ride, passengers will get a look at some beautiful New Mexico scenery and go through 5 picturesque pueblos. Rael is expecting thousands of commuters to ditch their car keys for a rail runner pass.
And a lot of folks that ride to Santa Fe are very concerned about the prices. Obviously, affordability is a big piece of it, but it's also the time.
15 trains will be running back and forth between Albuquerque and Santa Fe. A round-trip ticket will cost you $8. Reporting live downtown, Eric Connert, Eyewitness News 4.
Extending the rail runner to Santa Fe will double the cost to operate it to about $20 million a year. That's why voters in 4 counties are being asked to approve a transportation tax on the ballot this year. The 1/8 of a cent sales tax would raise about $26 million a year in Valencia, Bernalillo, and Sandoval counties. Half of the money would pay for the rail runner itself, the rest for other mass transit projects. Santa Fe County will also vote on a similar transportation tax that would generate almost $3 $3 million a year for the rail runner.
A budget battle is brewing over a potential $200 million shortfall for the state. State government is predicting the shortfall because of plunging oil and natural gas prices, which mean lower tax revenues in the current fiscal year. State lawmakers want to dip into the $600 million in reserves New Mexico has for a rainy day, but the governor says he doesn't want to touch the money.
Assure the public we're not going to raise any taxes, we're not going to reduce services, we're going to have balanced budget, we're not going to dip into our reserves, which are 10% of the budget, but we are going to do some belt tightening.
We're not going to be able to maintain that 10% reserve we got, I can tell you that. Not and continue to provide all the services and everything that the people of the state of New Mexico expect.
In January, lawmakers will have to draft the next fiscal year's budget, and there could be an even bigger shortfall. But other states are in even more serious trouble. California is begging for a Wall Street-style bailout, and Virginia is laying off state employees to make up $2 billion.
The winds have already started to pick up around parts of the state, and that's bringing a big change in the temperatures. Char Spalding is tracking the cool down from the Pinpoint 4 Storm Center. Char?
Well, that front that we've been talking about is already starting to dip into northeastern New Mexico. We're even seeing a few light showers there, but breezy conditions statewide. And you can see we've had some gusts pick up, especially in Raton at 32 miles an hour. Our current gusts in Clayton at 35 miles an hour. Starting at 4 a.m., we'll have gusting winds we'll have wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour all across the eastern plains. And this wind advisory lasts until 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be back to show you how cold it's going to get, some of the coldest temperatures of the season. All of that in just a few minutes.
Early voting tops our Decision 2008 coverage tonight. The numbers suggest there is a ton of interest in this election. More than 13,000 voters have already voted early in Bernalillo County. The county clerk says that's more than 3 times as many early voters as in 2004. The county clerk also says more than 21,000 absentee voters have sent their ballots in already. Bernalillo County has more than 390,000 registered voters. A comment from a New Mexico Republican has Muslim groups around the country outraged. In an editorial letter to a newspaper, Marcia Sturman, the chairwoman of an Otero County Republican women's group, said, quote, "I believe Muslims are our enemies," and called Barack Obama a Muslim socialist. The Republican Party of New Mexico says the comments do not reflect the party's values and beliefs. Sturman has refused to apologize.
A new NBC Wall Street Journal poll is good news for Barack Obama, not so good for John McCain. On most key issues like the economy, surveyed voters gave Obama the advantage by a wide margin. And McCain's choice of Sarah Palin as his VP pick was voters' #1 concern about him. Steve Handelsman has more on the poll.
So those lights are hot.
In Florida today, Barack Obama staged a meeting meant to look like the ones he would hold if he wins.
See, this is how we're going to do things in the White House. Use some common sense.
In today's NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, more voters say they trust Obama on key issues. A 39-point lead over McCain on health care, 21% on the economy, the #1 issue, 14 over McCain on taxes. In today's session, Obama showed off his low-key but charismatic style. Like he did in 3 debates with John McCain. It's apparently worked. 52% of Obama voters say they're enthusiastic about voting for him. Just 26% of McCain voters say they're enthusiastic. Many independents say they're turned off by McCain attacks. But in Pennsylvania today, McCain slammed Obama again.
When he's campaigning in Philadelphia, he roots for the Phillies. Then when he's campaigning in Tampa Bay, he shows love to the Rays. It's kind of like the way he campaigns on tax cuts, but then votes for tax increases after he's elected.
McCain's biggest problem in the poll? Sarah Palin. 34% of voters surveyed said she's not qualified to be president. Obama will leave the campaign trail Thursday, going to Hawaii to see his ailing 85-year-old grandmother, Madeline Dunham, who helped raise him. Good move, says an Obama advisor.
Why would you leave the campaign trail for any reason in the last 2 weeks of a campaign? But I think this says everything you need to know about character and really about judgment.
Factors that undecided voters use to make up their minds. I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News, Washington.
John McCain is making a campaign stop in the Four Corners before hitting southern New Mexico this weekend. McCain will speak in Durango on Friday, and then on Saturday, McCain will be in Mesilla with his wife to hold a rally in the plaza there. Hillary Clinton will be in southern New Mexico on Saturday as well, campaigning for Barack Obama in Sunland Park. No other details have been released yet about her visit. Tomorrow night, Eyewitness News 4 hosts a live debate between the two candidates in New Mexico's 1st Congressional District. We'll be firing questions at Democrat Martin Heinrich and Republican Darren White tomorrow night, starting at 7, right here on KOB-TV.
Tomorrow could be a big day for the New Mexico Spaceport. The Las Cruces Sun-News reports the Spaceport Authority may sign a formal development agreement with Virgin Galactic tomorrow. Virgin Galactic is the company that wants to launch tourists into space from the Sierra County site for $200,000 a trip. By signing the document, Virgin Galactic agrees to base its operations at the spaceport and would face legal penalties if it backs out. The $200 million spaceport is supposed to open in 2010.
Albuquerque's Eclipse Aviation will now have to sell some of its jets a second time. Eclipse will have to find new owners for 28 of the Eclipse 500 jets it sold to Dayjet. Dayjet, an East Coast air taxi service, was Eclipse's biggest customer until it went belly up in September. Eclipse will serve as a broker and won't collect much money from the used jet sales.
Even the federal government needs help managing its money. Today, the Treasury announced it has chosen 2 accounting firms to help manage the $700 billion bailout plan. PricewaterhouseCoopers and Ernst & Young will handle the government's purchase of troubled assets from banks. On Wall Street today, the Dow lost 230 points after a surge yesterday, closing just above the 9,000 mark. Economists say we can expect to see a lot of ups and downs in the stock market for the next few months.
State lawmakers are fuming about how Albuquerque is handling New Mexico's smoking ban. Today, the two sides argued over the law. City of Albuquerque officials told lawmakers that what's on the books doesn't really give them the authority to do much about businesses that break the law.
You have no authority under the ordinance or the state law to close them down. These are strictly criminal petty misdemeanor citations, and we have to prove the case before a metropolitan judge. And quite frankly, these citations are viewed more or less very much like traffic citations. They're not taken very seriously.
I've seen some get dismissed completely, and I've seen some for as low as a $10 fine and court costs.
Lawmakers also accused the Department of Health of making it too easy for new cigar bars to get permits.
A jury will decide the fate of a New Mexico cult leader accused of inappropriately touching underage followers. And a judge has decided 2 girls will have to tell their stories about Wayne Bent during a trial instead of a hearing. Bent is accused of touching the girls' breasts while lying naked with them at his compound near Clayton. Bent claims it was a spiritual experience, not a sexual one. The state raided the compound back in May and removed the girls after hearing the allegations. Jury selection is in November.
A police officer is recorded tasing a teenager, but next at 10, see why investigators say that was the least of their worries.
Chopper 4, responding immediately when news breaks, with a dedicated news team on site, ready to fly in seconds.
We have Chopper 4 up so you can see what is going on the ground.
Chopper 4 is live local late-breaking coverage.
Half Price Thursdays on Good Day New Mexico is your chance to get amazing deals for half the price. It's easy. Just log on to gooddaynm.com and click on Half Price Thursdays. Here's what's on sale this Thursday at 11 a.m. Transcendence Massage Therapy is selling $50 gift certificates for just $25. And Pacific Rim Asian Bistro is also selling certificates for half off. This deal won't last long. See you Thursday on gooddaynm.com.
The failed Bush economy. How did it come to this? Darren White chaired Bush's campaign, helped him get elected. And the Bush legacy? Record debt, soaring gas prices, Wall Street bailouts, New Mexico left behind. Today, White still supports Bush's failed economic policies that brought us here. George Bush is finally leaving, so why would we send Darren White to Congress? The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
For a long time, you've allowed me to serve you. Together, we've accomplished a lot for New Mexico. Now, I must pass this work to someone who can continue our progress. Steve Pierce is that someone. He knows how to make our labs prosper, and how to create jobs to keep our economy robust. Do the right thing for New Mexico's future. Join me and vote for Steve Pierce.
I'm Steve Pierce, and I approve this message.
Tomorrow morning on Eyewitness News 4 Today.
We'll take a look at the new plan set to go before city councilors that has Rio Rancho residents footing the bill for improvements to keep their homes from flooding.
Plus, a chilly start to your morning. I'll show you what you'll be waking up to in our brand new Pinpoint Forecast.
If you have a tip for 4 Investigates, call 764-2550 or log on to KOB.com. 4 Investigates, only on Eyewitness News 4.
In Florida, a police officer loses his job after he shows some really bad judgment. The 22-year-old rookie cop decided to throw an underage drinking party at his home with about 50 people. To make matters worse, he decided it would be funny to use his police-issued taser on the 19-year-old birthday boy. Someone videotaped it all, and the rest is history.
Police are targeting speeders around Santa Fe this week. Tomorrow and Thursday, state police will set up speed traps in construction zones along I-25. Officers will patrol the areas in both marked and unmarked cars.
A New Mexico filmmaker wants the state's movie business to be known as Tamalewood, but he doesn't want other people using that term. KOB-FM morning radio personalities say they got a letter that told them the station could face a lawsuit if they continue their segment called Tamalewood. John and the Pop-Tarts have been doing the segment about local film productions for a couple of years, but filmmaker Leonard Sanchez had Tamalewood trademarked.
First of all, I know that we didn't invent the term, but we've heard it around so much, people use it so often, that I thought, how could somebody own the phrase?
Sanchez is also the founder of the Tamalewood Production Company, which sponsors the annual Tamalewood Award for Best New Mexico Filmmaker. We could not reach Sanchez for comment.
The city of Albuquerque and the state are teaming up to spend $1.5 million to make over a small park that's popular with the homeless. La Luz de Amistad Park sits on the northeast corner of Tramway and Central. Councilor Don Harris says one goal of this renovation is to force transients to find somewhere else to spend their days.
We're going to be trimming the trees and putting a lot of rocks down so that it's very visible and it's not comfortable for the homeless people.
The project is expected to start in the next 2 or 3 months and should be finished by spring of next year.
Federal investigators are trying to figure out what's behind dozens of letters covered in strange powder turning up at Chase banks across the country. The FBI says field tests on the powder have turned up negative for anything dangerous, but more tests are expected. It appears all 30 letters were mailed from South Texas. There's no word on what the letters said.
A new study shows kids are going without health insurance even if their parents are covered. The study found some family incomes are too high for the kids to qualify for state insurance programs, but not high enough for parents to afford putting their children on their employer's health insurance. The study also found some families who do qualify for state programs don't sign up because they say enrollment is too confusing.
India is heading to the moon. Tonight, the country successfully launched its first unmanned mission to the moon. The mission's major goals are to map the surface of the moon and to explore what lies beneath it. The launch puts India in the middle of a 21st century space race with China and Japan, which already have crafts orbiting the moon.
Now, your Pinpoint Forecast.
Good evening to you. That powerful front that we've been talking about already starting to show up in northeastern New Mexico. A few light showers out there, but the high today for Albuquerque above average. Thanks to that high, we're going to see temperatures sharply cooler for tomorrow. In fact, highs today reaching the 60s, 70s, even some 80s across southern New Mexico. 82 degrees for the high in Alamogordo, Carlsbad 80, and in Santa Fe 70 degrees. The winds are starting to pick up as that front moves into northeastern New Mexico. Currently a 32-mile-per-hour gust in Raton, 35 in Clayton, and a wind advisory starting at 4 a.m. and this is going to last until 4 p.m. This is a long wind advisory, and we're expecting gusts as high as 45 miles an hour across the eastern portion of New Mexico. Satellite and radar showing that front right there. It's going to continue to dive southward overnight into tomorrow, and what this means for you is temperatures anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees cooler than what we're going to see, and actually what we saw today, I should say. And your pinpoint for futurecast showing that front moving across northeastern New Mexico, bringing a few light showers to the northeast, but the rest of the state remaining dry but cool. In fact, a freeze watch will start by late Wednesday and last until Thursday, and this does include the Albuquerque area, and we're expecting our first freeze across portions of the state. So for your overnight temperatures across the southeast, those 30s, 40s into the 50s for our overnight temperatures. Take a look at these numbers for tomorrow, those 50s into the lower 60s. In the southwest corner, overnight temperatures from the 30s, 40s into the 50s, and by tomorrow we actually could see a few 70s out there with 66 degrees in Socorro. In the northwest corner, we're going for overnight temperatures from the 20s into the 30s, sunshine, but a high of only 61 degrees in Farmington. That's one of the coolest temperatures you've seen so far this season. And in northeastern New Mexico, those 30s into the 40s, and highs only reaching the 40s into the 50s, with 44 for the cool high for Angel Fire. Espanola, Los Alamos, and Santa Fe clear but breezy with a high of 56 degrees in Santa Fe, 52 in Los Alamos. And in the East Mountains, we're going for overnight temperatures close to freezing in Cedar Crest, breezy to windy conditions with a high of 60 degrees in Moriarty, winds out of the northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. From Placitas to Belen, those numbers into the 30s for overnight temperatures, 64 for the high in Los Lunas, Belen at 65 degrees. And here in the Albuquerque metro area, it's going to be breezy tonight into tomorrow, and sharply cooler temperatures across the state, including here in the Albuquerque metro area, 62 degrees. So your Santa Fe 7-day forecast showing breezy conditions for the next several days, and it is going to be cold, especially by Thursday, 60 degrees, and I think we could hit the freezing mark for the first time in the Duke City by Thursday night.
All right, thanks. You know how some football teams use a fog machine as the players run out of the tunnel onto the field?
Well, this is video as the Iowa State Cyclones hit the field, and you can see someone overdid it with the fog machine. Watch as a player slams into the goalpost.
Here it is again in slow motion. It was an omen as Iowa State then got slammed by Nebraska 35-7.
And next at sports, UNM football coach Rocky Long talks about having to play on Thursday.
And we'll tell you about one fantastic freshman.
But first, here's a look at your New Mexico lottery numbers.
Welcome to the New Mexico Lottery Drawing Show for Tuesday, October 21st, 2008. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and that means you still have a chance to buy a Hot Lotto and Powerball ticket before tomorrow night's drawings. Tonight's Roadrunner Cash winning numbers are
28, 25,
3, 9, 34.
And the Roadrunner bonus ball.
31.
And here are tonight's winning Pick 3 numbers.
5, 3,
1.
Here is a recap of tonight's winning numbers. Buy a Hot Lotto ticket for tomorrow night's drawing. The jackpot has been rolling for 3 months, so the Hot Lotto jackpot is now an estimated $9.1 million. And the Powerball jackpot is an estimated $42 million. For an extra $1, add the Sizzler to your Hot Lotto ticket, or add the Power Play to your Powerball ticket to multiply all non-jackpot prizes. Closed captioning on Eyewitness News 4 is sponsored by Coleman Vision.
John McCain wants to scare you. I want you to know what I believe. I believe in the dignity of work. I believe in tax cuts for the middle class. I believe people who break the law should be punished, and the terrorists who plot against us should be hunted down before they strike. I believe we need to fund our schools, but that no money can take the place of a parent taking responsibility for their child. And I believe in you and our ability to make America even better. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
J. Edwards Diamonds is opening a new showroom, and Albuquerque is included in the grand opening celebration. Now through Saturday, we're offering huge discounts on all the latest styles of fashion jewelry and bridal jewelry, and up to 50% on all certified diamonds. And we're discounting the sales tax amount on every item. This is your chance to save hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And if you want financing, we're offering 60 months, no down payment, and no payments for a year. Our grand opening event is going on now, but it ends Saturday, so don't miss it.
Have I got something to show you? We've just kicked off the biggest used car sale of the year and slashed the prices on over 300 used vehicles. Every used vehicle not sold tomorrow will be reduced again and again. Here's the deal. I'm going to mark down every vehicle every day until it sells. Like this 2000 Infiniti QX4 with four-wheel drive, leather, moonroof, and power everything. Today it was $12,000. Tomorrow it's $8,900. This is simple. The very best used cars at the absolute lowest price tomorrow at Beaver Toyota in Santa Fe.
Eyewitness News 4 is sponsored by BeaverToyota.com.
Good evening, everyone. 18 days and counting until the first exhibition game of the season for the UNM men's basketball team. Our Lobo insider, Lee Faria, has seen this squad at practice and says at least one member of this year's highly touted recruiting class is living up to the hype.
You know Daniel Ferris will play inside, and Chad Toppert will knock down shots from the outside. Even Tony Dandridge looks to be 100%. But a guy you may not know about is going to play a big role. His name is Philip McDonald. McDonald played his high school ball at Cypress Springs near Houston. He scored almost 20 points a game his senior year and was rated as one of the top 4 players in the entire state of Texas.
I played with Philip and played against him, so he's doing everything I know he can do. You know, I seen him in AAU. You know, I seen him in Houston. I know what he's capable of, and he's going to bring his game every day. That's why he's one of the top 100 in the country.
Yeah, I think I'm very important to this club because other teams, we're going to have an advantage against other teams because Tony and Chad, they're a big offensive threat too. So then it could look out to me too to be in that other scorer.
Phil's going to be there, so if there's a double team or something or if there's a spot open, he's going to cut to it. He's going to be open, and he doesn't miss when he's open.
McDonald was selected as the preseason freshman of the year by the Mountain West Conference writers and broadcasters. He really impressed Lobo fans when he scored 12 of his team's 26 points at the Lobo Howl. Steve Alford says, bottom line, McDonald can put the ball in the hole.
He's a scorer, and these guys, as they get more comfortable with our motion and what we want to do within the scheme of our offense, you got to guard Phillip.
The Lobos' all-time leading scorer is Charles Smith, who's from Dallas. Don't be surprised if that title moves to a player from Houston before his days are done at UNM. In Albuquerque, I'm Lee Faria, Eyewitness Sports 4.
The 4-4 Lobo football team takes a show on the road. UNM is at Air Force, but both teams will have a short week. This one will be played Thursday night in Colorado Springs, and you get the feeling Rocky Long doesn't like these midweek matchups.
If I was in charge, every college football game would be played on Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But since I'm not, I guess it'll never happen.
I'd like to say tonight's New Mexico Game Day Player of the Week is peaking at the right time, but he's been on top of his game all year. Las Cruces quarterback Dante Caro accounted for 270 yards of offense against Oñate. And this is a soccer game we're looking at right now. And, of course, 'tis the season for a different kind of football. The Sandia Prep girls beat Hope Christian this afternoon. That's Elena Benavidez in rewind mode. She can do it forwards and backwards. And this is Dante Caro. We're jumping all over the place tonight, having a little fun here. Dante Caro, 3 rushing TDs, 1 passing TD against Oñate. Dante Caro from Las Cruces, you are the New Mexico Game Day Player of the Week. And as I mentioned, some soccer. Let's talk about another game here. This is the Sandia Prep game. That's Selena Benavidez. That is one of their 6 goals, and Sandia Prep beats Hope Christian 6-2. And the Academy Girls soccer team has the best record in Class 4A right now. They took on Del Norte this afternoon off of the corner kick, and Bridget Hill, that's a heads-up play. Chargers beat the Knights 4-1. We got it all in.
Yeah, we did. Took a while, but we got it in. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
You can save over $15,000 in fuel over the next 5 years in a new Toyota Camry. Over 30 miles a gallon for only $199 a month. Beaver Toyota in Santa Fe.
Ed Tinsley likes to talk about federal waste, but millionaire restaurant owner Ed Tinsley helped himself to $50,000 in federal subsidies for his multi-million-dollar family ranch. Obviously, having taxpayers feather his bed is more important than raising the minimum wage or paying his own employees a living wage. Because what's good for Ed Tinsley is bad for New Mexico. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's a disgrace. Martin Heinrich smears a decorated soldier and lawman, but it's not the first time. Martin Heinrich refused to condemn an ad that called our American general a traitor during a time of war. And Martin Heinrich even promised to block funding for body armor, bullets, and other critical equipment for our combat troops unless they're pulled from Iraq. We just can't trust Martin Heinrich. Republican Party of New Mexico is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Harry Teague on the economy.
Our economy is in shambles, you know. Unemployment is rampant.
No kidding, Harry. As county commissioner, Teague opposed tax relief for working families. He increased fees on businesses, increased property taxes on homeowners, and Harry is willing to give up his and your guns to the government. Harry Teague, higher taxes, liberal agenda, wrong for New Mexico.
I'm Ed Tinsley, and I approve this message.
Pumpkins can be friendly, or scary, or goofy. But at Isleta Casino and Resort, they can be worth up to $50,000. Play Isleta's Pumpkin Patch of Cash. Now through November 16th, earn entries playing your favorite slots and table games. Then, every Sunday at 8 p.m., your entry could be drawn to pick a pumpkin worth up to $5,000. And a spin to multiply your cash up to 10 times. The Pumpkin Patch of Cash. Now through November 16th at the Southwest premier entertainment destination, Isleta Casino and Resort.
I'm Darren White, and I approve this message.
Martin Heinrich, running a false campaign to hide his record. For years, Heinrich illegally ran an unlicensed business. While on city council, he broke city laws. Heinrich was a special interest lobbyist. His boss said he broke the law again by never registering. Heinrich used his elected office to help his paying clients. No wonder he broke the law to hide the truth. Martin Heinrich can't be trusted.
When you see news, share it on KOB.com and UNews TV.
And a wind advisory starting at 4 a.m. and Steve Stucker will have the latest on this cold front starting at 5 a.m.
Thanks for choosing Eyewitness News 4.
Good night.
Good night.
Live, local, late-breaking coverage from Eyewitness News 4. Always on KOB.com, Eyewitness News 4 mobile, and Pinpoint 4 Weather Plus.
Tonight, catch Jay with Dana Carvey.
Dow! Plus, Tonight Show secrets revealed.